How you doing, Dr. Joe? Um, Today, my leadership reflections. What I wanted to do was focus on, engagement, the importance of engaging those you serve, whether they're fellow peers or in the workforce or anywhere else, and how engagement really empowers relationships. Um, you know, um, and the bonds that you make with those you are you're serving, as I mentioned before. What I like to do is just I'm going to talk about some exercises we went over in class, talk about some of the movies and how they coincide with engagement, and I'll finish up with the relationship between the relational leadership method and engagement as well. Um, the reason I wanted to do this, and I thought it was extremely important, is because we talk about the importance of um, relationships, how and everything as a leader comes down to that word. Um, Basically, what I think is that if you're going to be an effective leader, you need to communicate with them. The only way you're going to really effectively communicate with them is by engaging them, getting to know those who you're serving, um, like intimately in a sense, like where you know as much as possible about them, and they know who you are and where you stand in your consistency, and that you're not a hypocrite, that you're loyal to them and to the goals that you're trying to accomplish. Um, when I first thought about true colors, you know, the main thing that I got from that is how I want to try and be a well-rounded person. I want to try and, um, you know, balance the colors that I'm getting, out of from the test, and really, like be able to um, relate to as many different types of personalities and leadership methods as possible. Because I think one of the best things you could do is be ready, prepare for any situation, and if I'm able to relate to as many people as possible, I'll be able to accomplish more goals. I believe. Just where I stand right now, pretty much, what I realize is that I'm still lacking in the blue color, so I'm trying to work on that a little more. As far as the heart transplant, I think the main thing that we were covering was that how culture and values really affect um, your decision making process. Um, Therefore, could it also culture and values can really affect how you engage um, the fellow people you serve, students, whoever it may be. Um, Therefore, you need to, in my opinion, you need to be able to adapt and evolve um, to an ever-changing culture. In our society, things are constantly changing. So, though you want to hold on to your roots, and it's important, sometimes it's, consistent. One thing to be consistent in in many things as far as fairness, but you also got to be able to adapt. So you got to embrace change rather than run from change. So I really like the quote that you had given us, which you said, change is not always better, but in order to be better, you have to change. You can't be better by staying the same. And that really hit me because I felt like, what, um, sometimes I'm like, I know change is good, but it was really hard, like trying to come to terms or reason with it, like, and balance between being consistent and changing or just understanding it. I knew it was important, but understanding that, and I realized that that's all it comes down to is if I want to be better, you're obviously changing from one point from where you were yesterday to who you want to be tomorrow. So I think that's important. That also, by being able to do that, you're open-minded. It's also going to affect how you engage and remain open-minded to those you are serving. Um, I think to embrace change, you need courage, and you need to be loyal to those you're serving and to the institution or to the goals. The goals, you can't have distorted loyalty. You can't like I guess put one thing over another. You got to remain loyal to that. I think one of the things I learned at the academy is the importance of um, how you know when you're a leader, the importance of troop welfare and mission accomplishment, how they go hand in hand. In this case, it would be the people you're serving, the welfare of them, and accomplishing your goals as a team, or making a collective effort. I think the way you engage or engaging, those you're serving will in turn affect like how you're accomplishing those goals. If they're taken care of, and they'll be able to accomplish those goals more effectively, because they're able bodies and taken care of. They're more motivated um, and and ready to rock and roll. Another exercise that I liked was the balloon exercise, which is, in my opinion, a perfect example of how, or we got a practical practice of just like an ever-changing situation. We didn't know which way the balloons were going to go. We didn't know um, how to accomplish our goals. So what we did was we came up with an idea. We respected each other's ideas, and we moved on. We engaged each other's thoughts, and really respected them, and then came to some sort of agreement right away, and try to adapt as the exercise was progressing. If we had to. Another big thing that was important is because of the way we were engaging, one another, and talking to each other, communicating with one another. It really affected our attitudes. In our case, it was everyone remained positive. In Dead Poet Society, since we're talking about changing, I think it's really important. Like one of the things I got from the movie was, he was really trying to keep the students open-minded and willing, and having their mind or have them willing to accept change, um, and open and free will. Um, putting aside what he could have done better, I think that was his ultimate goal, was just having them um, not afraid of embracing a different perspective. In 12 Angry Men, I was really inspired and motivated by juror number 8. I felt the way he went about communicating, um, relating, and getting his ideas across, and how he engaged the rest of the jurors was 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 amazing. I think it's very hard sometimes to stand alone. One of my favorite quotes um, is is by Martin Luther King, and it's the one that goes, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." I was really, like I mentioned earlier, just inspired by how juror number 8 really was willing to stand alone, and in turn change all the minds of everybody that was there, because it challenged each person to question their motives, question their decision-making process, and question whether or not somebody was deserved, to die. You um, with the relational leadership method, I think engagement sums up pretty much everything that that the relational leadership method, I guess, is broken down into, which is being inclusive, including everyone in anything that you're doing, um, empowering one another, making sure your purpose is always upfront, and like clear and concise when you're engaging one another, and by also remaining ethical and not compromising, or your moral standards, your character, so making sure that's not an expense. Overall, I just the reason I was talking about engagement is because I realized that after everything we talk about, I want to be an engager, because this will build better relationships, which will ultimately make me a more effective leader in accomplishing serving those I lead to the best possible, um, in the best possible way. In turn, by doing this, I think it can make a better overall team, and being able to more effective team to accomplish goals. All right. Thank you very much. I hope I didn't bore you too much. All right.